It started up again outside my client's Bynum house. Men are driving by screaming and stuff, and somebody says that weird Kurt's name. And now that weird Kurt, Stark County Sheriffs were making fun of him last year. Some girls ran out of a gas station out of town. Oh my goodness, Kurt found out all those kids were lying. He's gonna kill her. It's like Kurt's slow, right? Because they all know since 18 all the police. Right? So I sat outside the Stark County Sheriff's. It's like Kurt's slow, right? Well, they can hear me. So two walk out laughing. If Kurt just found out those kids are lying, he's slow. Okay? So I say that. And I start rambling about the police department's the state case, about Michelle, and them getting caught lying, and even the main officers, stating that they were making everything up at Walgreens January 12th, 22. Well, I go out and I sit outside with my client. People are turning around and leaving in front of me. He was manipulating people. He even admitted outside in the spring. It was dark. And they said, Kurt, they really framed her before? Yeah, they framed her before. Kurt, they really drugged her and told her to say before? Yeah, they really did. Someone needs to help her. Okay, I don't know him. He's weird and slow. Okay. And I've been rambling since I got home. I said, do you realize how much Michelle's parents hate her? Hate her. Hate her. Hate her on ungodly levels. They hate her. Now, if your daughter cheats with a married man and she wants him, what do? You have money. You pay off the wife. You move the husband out and you set him up for them to live. Right? You do a delusion of the marriage. Right? You don't go psycho, fatal attraction on the wife, and in 3 days have some guy kick in their door, literally kick it in until it kicks in the wall, set up button cameras and start stalking the wife. You don't have the guys break in and roofie drinks and stab her with amnesia drugs and tell her to say something stupid and she wakes up with bruises and don't know why she's sick. And so she don't remember. That's sociopath, psychopath. And you definitely don't make that public knowledge that you're doing this kind of psychopath stuff to a wife. And that your daughter's so pathetic that you're so excited that some guy actually wants her that you'll go this far. Because even in social graces, it's not okay to commit adultery or in church places. So they usually keep that hush-hush. And to put it out there publicly that you had to break in and stalk the wife, Photoshop her, and date rape, drug her, and terrorize her, and she didn't know what was going on. And you were doing it for your pathetic daughter because you didn't think she could get anyone else. How much do they hate that girl? That's a lot of hate. That's a lot of hate. And that's a lot of hate where they paid people's cell phones, out to eat, the gas money, and paid them for their time to follow and harass me because they're so mad that he used all of them and dumped her within like 6 weeks after the divorce. And so they came down and took it out on me instead of going after him because they're sick, mentally sick. They hate that girl to the point they hacked into the police investigation that was created for protective life. They had said they even had to cut a deal with the agent and pay him off because they had to explain their daughter. So he set up, nobody helped me. They even braked in front of people, tape and audio in Walmart, August 10th or 11th of 22, by the hair salon, that they had to pay off that agent. They had enough to pay him off and all these people to publicly shame her that she couldn't get anybody else. Huh? And they hate her that bad, that they had to shame her that bad. That's disgusting. That they hate her that bad. I went out to smoke a cigarette. Some guy went by and said, Judge Peter actually hates her that bad. I can see that, and so can everybody else. You want to talk about Fatal Attraction movie? You know that in that movie, the guy has like a one-night stand. That girl starts stalking the wife. She doesn't know it. Bad things start happening to her, and she don't know why. They start finding dead animals on the front porch and terrorizing her, and then she kills her to take her place. Sound familiar? I'll tell you what, when I was in Ravenna, there was a giant possum in the trash, and I asked Dave to get it out because I didn't want him just knock it over and let it go run free, you know? But I don't want to knock it over because it's big, okay? Well, I always went through this one walking area. Next morning, you can tell it'd been murdered. That's not the only one they killed. I went to go for a walk around here in Louisville. There was some dead birds that had been killed and dead squirrels. And some of the guys that watched me, they need to stop killing animals and throwing them in a walking path. You want to talk about a fatal attraction family? They need to stop being assholes and psychotic assholes. You don't break the door in of somebody who's living in, basically camping in an empty house, out of a fishing cooler on an air mattress with a TV and a DVD player on the floor. And most of their clothes are in storage and everything else they have. And he met that girl 3 days afterwards, and 6 days afterwards, they knock on my door. Within 3 days of meeting her, we hadn't been up there 6 days, they kicked in my door. And that's when they're supposed to put their button cameras up, and where I wouldn't see them, and started stalking me, photoshopping shower scenes behind my back, being assholes. And then all of a sudden, that's how I met the male nurse. Now, I could mow the lawn at Lenox like it was nothing. And I went out to mow. I did 2 strips. And all of a sudden, I'm dizzy. I go to sit down, and it's like, what's wrong with me? I go in and get a cold can of pop, and I sit down. I thought, dear God, what's wrong with me? I go to do 2 more strips, and all of a sudden, I'm getting dizzy. Okay? I had bruises I couldn't explain. They were already roofing and date rape drugging me within 2 weeks of me living. The guy came next door before 4490 John Thomas. He came over and he's like, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I'm actually a nurse. I worked I see you struggling. Do you care if I mow your lawn for you? And I'm like, I don't have the money to pay you. Neighbors don't pay each other. I said, well, I feel bad. I'd want to give you money. Neighbors don't pay each other. He said, I got a riding lawnmower. I'll come over right out. I said, but I feel bad. I'd like to pay you, and I don't have it on me. Neighbors don't pay each other. He said, it's nothing. He said, and if you see a young guy over there, I have a grown son. You'll see him out every once in a while. And that's how I met him. Okay? Just him being nice. I think it was his grown son that tried to grab me after the shooting night when I ran from Dave. The white man with black hair and a long black beard ran out of his house, tried to grab me. I think it was him. But I'll tell you what. They hate that girl so bad. So bad. They would actually make this public that they would have to date, rape, drug me, pay people not to help me. And they referred to her as a woman too ugly for another man, and she would never find another man. And to say that where people would hear it. They hate her that bad. And to make this disgrace because of her, they're that sick. You realize some idiot just new to town walks into a store, don't know anybody, tells everybody that he's trying to get rid of his wife, and asks people to help kill the wife. What do? Never say, call 911. Dave acts like he likes that ugly girl, and they agree now. And he dates her on a ruse, and 3 days later, they're so excited, they fucking kick in my door. He makes up a cheesy excuse, another realtor pass it. They can't have keys. They have to be in a lockbox. I can't believe I fell for that. Okay? They have to be in a lockbox on the door. It's a liability issue. Yeah. And so they can start stalking, breaking in, date rape, drugging. I guess photoshopping scenes on their own. Now, because he's a retired judge, some of the dirty cops are probably involved. And they're denying every bit of this because it's so illegal. We were never in your home, nor have knowledge of what those people were saying, what happened. We would never do that, Miss Hall, or ever be in anybody else's home outside of a productive life case. I said, well, you have to speak to everyone before you start. It's the Fourth Amendment. Or you can't look or listen. Yes. Mm-hmm. They hate that girl. Now, their asshole behavior of photoshopping shower scenes and date rape, drugging confessions and kicking in my door and stalking me because they're pathetic and they hate their daughter that bad. They think they have to get a man for her that bad. They're going to terrorize the wife instead of doing the right thing and paying her off. And they had to go to that agent and cut a deal because they had to explain it to him about Michelle. And cut a deal with him. In Brigham, Walmart, August 10th, 11th, 22, by the hair salon. Walmart 62. They're that pathetic. In front of people. And they sold the lock-in. My phone's bugged if I have it on or not. How do you think they heard it in Burlington Coat Factory? Of, oh my goodness, they made a drug her and telling her to say it before, and people ran out of their streets and clear across town. Yeah, they all heard that they paid off that agent. Of course they did. I told you. He made it on the phone about the girlfriend. Does he know if he has a girlfriend? And I'm like, I don't know, because I didn't know back then, because that's why I tried to listen on that phone call. I didn't hang up on that phone call. Boy, did I miss that one coming. Okay? She still don't know right now. Okay? What? And the other guy, because he goes, do you know if he has a girlfriend? I'm like, I don't honestly know. Some guy said, and starts rambling about stuff. And I'm like, what? He goes, stop. She doesn't know. He shut him up. He knew. Somebody drove by my clients a couple nights ago. Oh my goodness, we found a tape of Will acknowledging the girlfriend. He did know. I told you. I didn't call him back for 4 days. There's 3 witnesses out in the mall that they're stating they're going to kill me, and 2 attempts on my life. One's linked back to the church with a Facebook account, and the other one, Dave's the main subject. You'd like hell they didn't come looking for me. And I already told him about the what a shame guy showing up, and I think I forgot about the attempted kidnapping. And I mean, I had so much. I talked to that lady for like 45 minutes on the hotline. He was so rude to me. And I tried to tell him about the guy threatened to knife me. He called me a liar. Why would you call me a liar? You could pull the surveillance and catch him on tape saying it. Huh? Because he was paid off. Huh? I need a witness. I gave 3 to the hotline. He didn't want me to talk. And then he said that thing about the girlfriend. He acknowledged he knew, and so did the other guy. Anything decent, he could have said, well, Karen, they're threatening your life. There's 3 witnesses, 2 attempts documented by the police. And now another weirdo show up. Why don't I just hide you? I'll send one of the agents up to get you, or the officers will just put you in the witness protection program. Don't come back for over a year. Tim will watch them. Just take your clothes. They could have had the cars, everything. Because that would be human. But he left me up there to die. And he even knew there was a hit on my granddaughter's life and my daughter-in-law's life. And then they played with their vehicles, and he didn't care. He didn't care. And then, if you tell anybody, I'll list you crazy. You know why he didn't want me to tell? Because he was paid off. My one friend that used to work for her prosecutor's office, he calls it backdoor deals. They slip in the side door or back door. They pay off people, not to help victims. And people get victimized or killed until somebody else does the right thing and pick up that case and then fixes it. And where Michelle's mother was laughing, we'll set it up, nobody ever help her, and nobody will do the right thing and help her. It's funny. Because we called and explained to Michelle how much it cost them. They could have paid me off. They paid people's cell phones to follow and harass me because they didn't get the house. He broke up with her like within 6 weeks of the divorce. Once he got what he wanted, he dumped the bitch. One of my guys said he just manipulated all these people to get everything he wanted. And they need to realize he just manipulated everybody. He never intended to want to marry that girl. Ever. He just wanted the rings and he wanted the house. And he wanted not to pay me so much alimony. And he manipulated those people into helping him get everything and then dump the stupid bitch. And her pathetic parents hate her so bad, they would put this out for public knowledge that they would pay people's cell phones, gas money for their time out to eat, clothing. To follow me around and harass me because they're having mad fits. Because that idiot used them. And they're down here terrorizing me. Because their asshole behavior of kicking in my door within 3 days. Because they think their daughter is so pathetic that nobody will want her. And set up cameras being assholes. Illegally stalking me. Apparently, I heard of photoshopping shower scenes. I don't know what else. Don't tell me. Made my stomach bleed when I found out. I was so upset. And where I had bruises and I'm getting sick on drinks, just Diet Coke. And getting dizzy and lay down. And hours would pass. And they have sodium pentothal. It's not sodium pentothal. They finally said it was ecstasy. Day rape drugs. Where you're sleepwalking, you have no idea what you're doing. They're not funny. Extreme asshole behavior. And it's like, you need to stop terrorizing me because Dave's psychotic ex-girlfriend and psychotic ex-girlfriend's family did their own little I always say Bunny in the Pot movie. Yeah. Where they have to kill them because they're psychotic. He was already trying to kill me to get everything. At Lenox in Massillon. And he just met these pathetic, sorrowful, pathetic people. And they agreed to help. You know, a lot of guys that'll kill their first wife, they get caught on just killing the second or third. Because they have unfortunate accidents. Like somebody shooting them driving. Lug nuts being taken off, sideswiped. Yeah. Carjacked. Or kidnapped. And they're not around. They usually get caught the second or third time. So why wouldn't they kill? It's a good thing you broke up with her. You would have killed that ugly girl, huh? And these people hate their daughter so bad they would make this public and let people watch them be disgraceful idiots. They're that sick. They thought they could run their own Fatal Attraction movie and disgrace their daughter across the nation where they sold the walk-in to the Protector Life case of how pathetic their daughter is, and they had to show how pathetic she was to the nation and how much they hated her that she couldn't get anybody else, and that they're going to terrorize the wife because they're throwing mad fits because they didn't get anything. Some guy walked in Dollar General. We found out that family got nothing out of this. Nobody's to say anything to her. Serves them right. It's called karma. You think you're going to steal everything from somebody in life when you could buy it yourself? They could afford to buy all these people's cell phones, tanks of gas, food, clothing, and trinkets to terrorize the wife. That they already stole everything because they hate their daughter that bad. Because they're mad she didn't get anything, and neither did they. They're still wasting their money terrorizing me. If they could have paid me off, I would have left. He would have just dumped the bitch and laughed at him. He hasn't been with her in over 3 years. Getting the idea of what the hell are they doing? And the Portage County Sheriffs, any part of them that were involved, are denying all knowledge. All knowledge. Because that would be illegal. Went into one of their conference rooms, they tape. Miss Hall, I can guarantee not one of our officers were ever in your home before a Protector Life case. I said, you have to speak to everyone before you start. Yes. Or you can't look or listen. Yes. I told him about what I heard about a shower scene and different people going to the Canton police and telling on them, and that they lied that it was sodium pentothal. I'd wake up with bruises and getting sick on drinks, and they were telling people that, and then they said it was ecstasy, date rape drugs, and I've never talked to anybody. We have no knowledge of that. None of our officers would ever be in your home outside of a protective life case. I said, with your statements? He said, yes. It's the Fourth Amendment, yes. Or you can't look or listen, yes. And he said, or your home or anyone's else's. That would be illegal. And nor do we have knowledge of what those people are saying. They're throwing them under the bus, so they go to jail for stalking. So where they probably were involved for the retired judge's daughter, they're throwing them under the bus. And they need to get some help and stop hating their kids so bad that they would have to put this public, that they would have to go this far, trying to marry their daughter off. And when they didn't get her married off, to come back down and terrorize me because they didn't get nothing. You know, normal people, when a guy comes in and don't know and asks strangers to help kill the wife, you call 911. If you weren't mentally ill, you wouldn't be involved in this. You know, I told one of my coworkers, I said, you know, my ex-husband, he would be good to you for 1.5 years. I said, I loved him to death. I said, but the first time you made him mad, he hit you in the board with his face. I told her how he broke my teeth. She's like, you're kidding. I said, no, he stormed off and met this crazy girl in her family. I said, 3 days later, they kicked in my door. I said, I found out they were watching me with tiny cameras. She's like, that's sick. And I said, I know. I said, and it's creepy. I said, and then they were telling people they put a shower scene in the other room. I said, people went to the Canton police and investigators. And where I said, I woke up with bruises and hand marks. And there was times I took drinks and I'd get dizzy and lay down for it. And then they got drug confessions. And they're bragging to people they did it under ecstasy. She's like, you need a restraining order against those people. She said, they're insane. Yeah, they are. And when people realize just how mentally ill these people are that are doing this to me. This is not the law. Matter of fact, if the law had a problem with me, they wouldn't even know. They wouldn't even know. They would just knock on my door and talk to me. They wouldn't even know. They can't disclose any part of the case. It's illegal. They'll go to jail. This isn't the law. This is just the psychopaths that hate their kid this bad to publicly shame her. I've never been questioned of wrongdoing. I've never been prosecuted, and I've never found guilty. I have one traffic ticket from 1989. Paid my ticket. I'll tell you what, I got a CCW, and I have my notary. I was found innocent of everything in 18, and that they even corrupted, knowing I was in police protective custody at that time, because where they corrupted the agent, he went ahead and opened a state case, had a cop talk to Dave for protected home custody, covered his ass and walked away. Okay? They knew all the police were watching. They also knew that they all were documenting that my ex-daughter-in-law was friends with the psycho girlfriend and caught them telling the kids to make up the mean games and pretend, and then on Thanksgiving of 18, they wanted that pathetic girl to have the house, an illegally bugged house, that the house wasn't meant for Grandma, it was meant for Auntie Shell and Papa, and Grandma needs to get out. And then to Flora, they were making everything up. They also know my whole family was interviewed in 18 and spoke highly of me. And they're just documenting mean games of pretend. But they went that low, trying to use children, knowing they were lying in front of all the police, and all the police knew. But they were that sick and mentally ill, and think that bad of their daughter, they would have to stoop that low, knowing that all the cops knew they were lying for that, trying to get that girl to get that house. And they sold the lock-in. So like Canton and Canton, May of 19, if you didn't hear John's kids right, on the third step up, his girlfriend is Michelle, it's Michelle. And like one of the main officers, undercover officers, John, he stopped goons at the door January 12, 22 at Walgreens, North Main. While those kids get caught stating, they made everything up. They're documenting me games of pretend, as the Massillon police say. They watched my daughter-in-law, Dixie, because my ex put a threat on her life, and they tamper with their vehicles, and then they ordered me to give my jewelry back, 18 grand in jewelry. They didn't need my 18 grand in jewelry. They could have bought her that much jewelry. They had enough money to pay for all this. They could have paid me off and I would have left. They did, like some guy said, there's no damn excuse for any of this. None. None. Absolutely none. You don't do this to a human being. They're extremely mentally ill people that are doing this. Extremely mentally ill.